Leaky pipes, water heater not working, maybe even suspect mold growing in your home. Hey, Gary Sullivan here from At Home with Gary Sullivan. I can help you with your home improvement projects each weekend right here. We'll take your calls about your home issues and give you solutions. We'll tell you how to fix it, what to use, and where to get it. We also have expert guests that can help you with those home projects. Hope you can join us this weekend right here on At Home with Gary Sullivan.
Saturday nights at 7 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
I just got a text asking me to approve a bank transfer I didn't make. I bet you get messages like this too. So much of our lives are online today, from email to banking and everything in between. To make sure my information was protected, I checked out CISA's Secure Our World website for simple steps to stay safe online. Now I know how to protect myself from scammers, and you can learn too. Go to CISA at cisa.gov/secure-our-world.
We parents hear our kids say lots of things that can get us pretty worked up. Things like,
"Look, Ma, no hands."
And,
"Ouch, that hurts."
look, you'll never completely stop worrying about your kids. But you can breathe a little easier with free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and CHIP programs in your state. The truth is, they're covering more kids and teens than ever before. So even if you've applied in the past, even if you don't qualify, your kids can now be eligible for regular doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and more. So the next time you hear,
"Ooh, I don't feel so good,"
relax. Your kids can be covered.
Get us kids covered today. Families of 4 earning up to $49,200 a year or more may qualify. Just go to insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only 2 things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Go! Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
And we welcome you to the show on a beautiful Saturday morning as we're enjoying partly cloudy skies. Temperatures been down to the mid-50s, and right now sitting at 60 degrees on this Saturday morning.
So comfy.
It is.
It's so comfortable.
You just wish it could stay like this for a while, and looks like we're going to get some moisture finally, hopefully.
Like 2 months of this would be really nice, yeah.
Now that the kids are pretty much all back to school and summer, I guess we can say, is officially over, although we still have Labor Day weekend
Labor Day weekend's coming up, yep.
But, yeah, it's quickly winding down. And, boy, you know, it's harvesting time.
It is harvest time.
We've been picking beans and zucchini, and our peaches are just barely coming on. I've been sneaking a few early. Yeah. Even though my wife keeps saying they're not ripe yet. I'm like, they're ripe enough for me.
Good. Yeah.
So there's just a lot we can talk about this morning.
Yeah, donut peaches are coming off our trees right now, and they're so good. Yeah, they're just so good. We've got a white donut peach, and it's amazing. Had our first batch of corn last night, so corn was amazing. Picked like a quarter bushel of tomatoes without even trying. They were just like coming on like mad. So
great.
It is. It's a fun time of year when harvest is coming on, and we get to enjoy that. And best part of the harvest is you get to share it.
Yeah.
You know, so I always enjoy giving it to people. So I've got actually a bunch of tomatoes in my truck right now to take back to the store to give out to a couple of people that are coming in today. So
all right,
that's just kind of how it works out. Yeah.
Now the purple tomatoes that you were trying this year, how did those turn out?
You know what? They are a large cherry tomato, and you cut them open, and they are purple all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah, purple all the way through. So,
were they worth trying to grow all the way from seed? And
you know, my plants right now are like 7-8 feet tall, and they're just going gangbusters. So they're just producing like crazy. They have a very unique flavor to them, so very different. But they're supposed to be like the healthiest tomato, like more antioxidants and lycopene and all kinds of other stuff in there that's good for you. So very interesting.
So how would you describe the taste as far as compared to like other tomatoes?
I am not a tomato fan. And so I've tried multiple new varieties this year, and they just all taste.
And they all taste like a tomato.
Yeah.
What if you put a little bacon with it, put it between two slices
might
of bread?
hide it. I have to have like a really good tasty Coke, like next like ready to go. So when I eat the tomato, it's just like, okay, we got to kill that. We got to kill that flavor.
I'm like you. I usually have to bury it in something. Growing up as a kid, my mom would always take a tomato, slice it up, and put a little cottage cheese, and, some seasoning on it, and it's like, okay, now I can eat it.
Yeah, it must be my taster, because like I wouldn't just eat the whole tomato. I would cut it in half and make sure somebody else tasted it first, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, that's like really, really good." And then I would eat it, and I go, you know, it just doesn't do it for me. It just comes across like really bitter to me. So it hits all my bitter taste buds.
And are these purple tomatoes kind of right there, just kind of like all the rest of them?
Yeah. So I've tried like chocolate sprinkles and purple tomato and sun sugar this year, and just those are the ones that like all my kids really like. Cherry chocolate. And I'm just like, they all taste bitter to me. They just taste bitter. So I guess if I were more interested in bitter flavors, then I might be more inclined to eat a lot of them. Okay. So yeah.
But size-wise, are they medium-sized tomatoes?
I would say they're about 1.5 inches.
Okay, so
in diameter. Yes, a little bit smaller. So I called it like a large cherry tomato.
Okay.
And everybody that's been grown-ups really enjoyed them. Yeah,
okay.
They really liked them. So. My kids are all over them. I think they're pretty good.
They're great.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. So
well, they can eat your share.
Yeah, but when you cut them open, it's like they look really cool with like a sun sugar tomato, or with a included in like a mixture of different tomatoes, because then you get like all the different colors as well too. Because sun sugar is like kind of a golden orange. And so you slice those open, and then it's really very attractive because they're just so colorful.
Okay,
because they're purple
like, all the way through.
Yeah,
really
they're super purple. So
all right,
cool things happening at Anderson Seed this weekend. So the cash sale, we have bumped the sale prices up. We did last weekend, and so they are 40% off for all of our remaining nursery stock. So that's trees, flowering trees, fruit trees, shade trees, evergreens, shrubs, flowering shrubs, vines. Those are all 40% off right now.
Okay.
And then if you pay with cash, you get an extra 10%. So the cash sale is going right this minute.
Okay.
So cash sale's going on. And then we just got a whole new batch of perennials in, and the perennials are 25% off for the perennials, but they're not included in the cash sale. So it was just a really nice shipment. We've got some fall bums. We've got some fall asters. We've got some rudbeckia. We got like a whole bunch of stuff that came in that looks really great for late summer.
Okay.
And they're later bloomers. So next year they'll be blooming in late August, early September. So they'll look really good in your yard. If you want a little bit of extra fall color, this would be a great option.
Yeah.
And then they'll be blooming at the same time next year. So perennials 25% off. Otherwise, the rest of our nursery stock 40% off, but an extra 10% off if you pay with cash. So then you get them for 50% off.
Okay.
Yeah. So good deals there. And then Pumpkin Festival's coming up.
Yeah. Next month.
27th of September is the Giant Pumpkin Festival, and it sounds like we have a number of growers that have some really, really big pumpkins. We might get multiple pumpkins over 2,000 pounds this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are super excited with that. So 27th of September, we've got live music going on pretty much all day in the plaza. So in the Lob Plaza, we'll have live music going most of the day. I think the first band starts at 11, and the last band starts at like 3. So we've got like 3 bands going on there. Lots of activities for kids. We'll have the pumpkin gallery where you can come in and look at all the giant pumpkins. And last year I think we had 30 pumpkins, and they ranged from 300 pounds up to almost 2,300 pounds.
Yeah.
So our winner last year was 2,289 pounds.
They're just under 23.
Just under 2,300 pounds. And it was absolutely massive. It was huge. So lots of activities. I think right now we have 120 vendors lined up. So it will be a giant festival going on right downtown in Logan. We'll have maps out for where to park. We're actually working with Connect so that they'll have some shuttles coming into Center Street so you can park in some different spots.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so you can park in some different locations and then just hop on the bus and
come in.
so they're going to bump up bus traffic.
Okay.
So you could park over by Smith's on 4th North and just hop on the bus and just like be
Which
right
would
downtown.
be ideal.
Yeah, so then you don't have to deal with the traffic and all the people and stuff. And so we'll have multiple stops set up that way.
Like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
where people could park somewhere else and then just hop on the bus and then just go. And it was so much fun last year. We had such a great time. And the Way Off will start around 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And we will start with the kids categories. So we actually have some youth that have been growing giant pumpkins. So we'll do the youth categories first. And then we'll get into the big pumpkins. And throughout the Way Off process, they'll be bringing in like unique vegetables because they don't grow, like the contest isn't just for growing big pumpkins. There's like biggest tomato and there's biggest watermelon and there's like biggest squash, but the squash is it looks more like a pumpkin. So it's like a specific variety that you have to grow. And then there's like field pumpkin category and there's like giant gourds. And I mean, so they'll be doing different stuff
all throughout the
day. Yeah. So
Okay.
as we're harnessing the giant pumpkins and trying to get those ready to pull over to the scale, they'll do some of the other vegetables that will be easier to.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to weigh a tomato than it is to weigh
I
a
know.
2,000-pound pumpkin. So they'll try and do some of that in between the other large pumpkins. And that makes it really interesting. But one of the cool activities that we've got planned, and this is just like so much fun, we've got a pumpkin pie eating contest. And so Lee's Marketplace has partnered with us, and they're going to do the pumpkin pie eating contest at the plaza. And so if you want to test your skills to see how fast you can eat a pumpkin pie, we'll be doing that throughout the afternoon.
Very cool.
That should be really fun. And we will have a bunch of categories as well, too. So there'll be a kids category. There'll be kind of a teen category as well, too. And then we've got a couple others as well.
Okay.
So it was really fun last year. It was pretty cool. And it's great to partner with Lee's Marketplace this year to do that. So should be a lot of fun.
Once again, Center Street will be completely closed
yep.
from Main to First West.
Yep,
so you'll have that full area to be able to enjoy. And you've teamed up with the Utah Theater again.
Yes. So they will be playing movies throughout the day. So throughout the day, they'll be doing Charlie Brown.
I think it's the Great Pumpkin
Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Yep, lost that for a minute. Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown every hour on the hour.
Okay.
And then in the evening, they will be playing Hotel Transylvania. Yeah, which isn't really like a Halloween movie. I mean, it's kind of got the Halloween
But it's got
characters.
the Halloween vibe, yeah.
Because the Pumpkin Festival is really not Halloween. It's kind of more
fall
it's more
festival.
harvest.
Yeah.
It's more of a fall festival. But we thought that would be really fun, and it's a really cute movie, and it's really funny. So that should be good. This year the vendors are going to go past Great Harvest all the way over to the plaza, and then we've got the children's market is going to be over by the plaza as well too. So basically, we're going to fill up that whole east section of the center block parking area. So it will spread the festival out a little bit more because last year it got really, really crowded. There were so many people there. And so this will expand our footprint a little bit, and we'll be able to spread things out. And all the food trucks and food vendors will kind of be in that same parking lot as well too.
Okay.
And Justin Hamilton with Cafe Sabor and Red Poppy, they're going to set up tables and chairs, and we'll actually have a couple tents for people to sit down and eat in as well too. So this will actually be really, really nice. So there'll be tables with umbrellas. There'll be some tents with tables and chairs set up out there as well too. And so it will be more convenient for you to come down, pick out some food find a place to sit and actually instead of like eat while you're
walking
while
around,
you're standing around. Yeah. So we're trying to make it a nicer experience for everybody. So it should be really good. Yeah. Should be awesome.
Well, and once again, we'll be bringing the show to you live that morning, and so we'll be kicking it off 8 o'clock. That's Saturday morning, 27th.
It's always fun. Yeah, it's always fun. Yeah. Always a good time.
It'll be here before we know it, unfortunately.
I'm looking at the calendar going,
flying by.
I got like 5 weeks to get stuff ready.
Yeah. Well, so much we can talk about this morning, and looking for your calls and comments and questions. If you have a question or a comment for Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden, the phone lines are open at 753 KVNU. That's 753-5868. Now, you mentioned a lot of your tomatoes are coming on. One of the things that we're noticing this year is tomatoes are really slow to ripen.
Yes.
And I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past, that I think a lot of it has to do with, you just look at the weather that we've had.
Yeah.
And it has had an impact.
It does.
I mean, as much as we've enjoyed the beautiful sunshine, without the lack of moisture that we've had, we're seeing a lot of our zucchinis are coming on, but they're not coming on as big and thick like they used to. They're a little skinnier.
And zucchinis are really dependent on moisture.
Yeah.
And so if you don't get a lot of water, because they have a lot of fiber in there, but they are predominantly water. Yeah, they're predominantly. So if you're not getting them enough moisture, then they will be smaller. They'll deform. I mean, they'll be curved. They won't be as nice. And with the tomatoes, there's some real tricks to get them to ripen up. And where our evenings are starting to cool down and our nighttime temperatures are dropping, the tomatoes will take longer to ripen even. And so there's some tricks that we do to get them to ripen. So first thing is to water them thoroughly when they need to be watered, but let them stress just a little bit in between the watering. So we're going to let them kind of wilt a little bit before you water them again, but then water them really heavily. So I'm only watering about every 4 to 5 days right now, and I'll water them really thoroughly so the soil's really well saturated, but then I just leave them for 4 or 5 days, and then they'll kind of wilt a little bit, and then I'll water them again. So start with that. No more fertilizer. So we have stopped with the compost tea, but I think we actually have a little bit left. So if there are any of our listeners that want to get in, I think we've got like maybe 100 gallons of compost tea left. And so if you did want to bring your containers in today, we may have some left. It depends on how fast everybody gets there. I didn't look before I left last night to see how much we had, but yesterday afternoon we had about 100 gallons. So it just depends on how many people came in and got some, because we filled up, like Saturday, we filled up our 300-gallon tank.
Oh, yes. The big one.
And our 65-gallon tank. And we still had quite a bit left in there at the end of the day. And so we kind of shut off compost tea last weekend, but we still have a little bit left, and I don't want it to go to waste. So if somebody wants to come in and get it, we could still do some refills, but no more fertilizer on the tomatoes.
Okay.
So we don't want to encourage more growth. We need the fruit that's already set on there to ripen.
Up.
So we're going to cut the water back. We're going to stop fertilizing. And then at night, you can start covering your tomatoes with like some frost cloth, not to prevent them from getting frozen, but to retain the heat. And that actually really helps quite a bit. So I'll take it off during the day, but then in the late afternoon when the sun's still up, put the frost cloth on, and then it will generate more heat, and then it will retain that heat through the night, and your fruit will ripen up much faster. And then next year in the spring, when you're getting ready to plant your tomatoes, put down weed barrier, because the weed barrier generates a lot of extra heat, and then it will help retain that heat at night as well too. So my tomatoes, last few years I've been doing the weed barrier, and we almost always harvest all of our tomatoes by the first part of October, because they've all ripened up. So so retaining that extra heat is critical. So weed barrier on the ground, frost cloth over the top, and then to really boost ripening, calcium really helps too. So if you use calcium chloride or like CalMag, which is magnesium and calcium, it's a spray. You can spray it on the plants, and it will help ripen those plants up as well too. So the calcium helps fruit set, but it also helps with ripening as well too. And so adding that extra nutrient really does make a difference.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. So that's how we're going to ripen up those tomatoes so you don't have bushels and bushels of green tomatoes come 10th of October.
Okay. Now, any diseases, it seems like, I know we're all dealing with some insects still, but diseases in the garden that you're still seeing.
Mildew, I had to spray last weekend for mildew, so powdery mildew is really kicking up. I killed 3 more squash bugs last night, which is not my favorite because they were like licking their chops at my giant pumpkins. So had to spray for those too. They actually killed one of my pumpkin vines, but not my giant pumpkin. So it was a different one. And they had set a whole bunch of pumpkins, so they're fine. They're just kind of starting to ripen up a little bit early. But definitely hate to watch those vines just all of a sudden keel over dead, looking like they don't have any water.
A lot of times it happens just overnight.
Yep, overnight. Yep, they were looking fine, and then I went out there, and it's just like, oh man, I was like, I sprayed last week for those guys. They must have already done damage, and so it good to prevent those squash bugs right now. But powdery mildew is spreading like crazy, so I used the fungicide 5, and it has done a really great job because I had one plant that was just really starting to get covered. And then I sprayed all my squashes, all my pumpkins, all my giant pumpkins, and also the cucumbers and the melons, and it has prevented it from spreading any further. So it was about a week ago that I sprayed, and I've not seen any extra advancing of the powdery mildew. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So mildew's a big issue, and on tomatoes we're seeing a little bit of bacterial speck and some black spot on the plants and on the fruit as well too. So the fungicide 5 or the complete disease control from Monterey, those are safe to use like right up to the minute you're going to harvest, and so you can do those the day you're going to pick even, and just rinse those fruits off when you pick them, and they'll be just fine. So not a problem. But through August and into the first part of September is when we really see a lot of those diseases popping up on the tomatoes. So good to stay on top of them.
Okay.
Yeah, good to stay on top of them.
Now, as far as insects are concerned, my daughter was asking me the other day, she's like, how's the grasshoppers? Because in years past, we've had a lot of grasshoppers, but thanks to Visionary Homes that have decided to develop the large farm fields behind us, all of a sudden our grasshopper population has dropped.
Yeah, not as many. We have noticed absolutely not as large of grasshopper population this year as we've had the last 2 years. So the last 2 years have been crazy, and grasshoppers were out this spring, but it seems like the way our weather worked out this spring with some cold and some late snow and some freezing temperatures, it really knocked the grasshopper population down.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have the huge explosion of grasshoppers this year that we have in the past.
But one thing I am noticing still, and Mr. Rigby sent us in the alert last week, and then, of course, we've had additional alerts since, but mosquitoes. Yeah, we've got a lot of mosquitoes in the area, and some of those have tested positive for West Nile. And so, of course, Bear River Health Department advising people like us as you're going out to do gardening, definitely want to wear those long sleeve shirts, long pants, and then make sure also you've got insect repellent.
Yep.
And you mentioned in the past there's some really good repellents that you can apply into your yard that will kind of help set up a barrier that just keeps annoys them.
Absolutely. So we kind of talked about it a little bit last week, but Mosquito Go is a natural repellent. It's made out of cedar oil. Comes in a granule form, and then the cedar oil is available in a liquid form as well too. It makes your yard smell amazing, and when you spray it or you broadcast it out, it'll give you 2 to 3 weeks of repelling action to keep the mosquitoes out of your yard. And they work really, really well, and non-toxic. They won't hurt beneficial insects. They won't hurt pets. Hurt people, and very, very effective on mosquitoes, but it works on moths as well too. And we've had just amazing results keeping the mosquitoes out of the yard, for barbecues or picnics, but where we've got a little bit of West Nile showing up in the valley, it's great for health as well too, because we just definitely don't want those spreading around. So
Okay.
Yeah. So the Mosquito Go granule form, easy to apply. Just put it in a broadcast spreader and just broadcast that out. And you can do turf, you can do shrubs, you can do lawn, you can do vegetable gardens. You just broadcast that all over the place. And it works great on mosquitoes, moths. It does work on grasshoppers too. So we've sold tons years past for grasshoppers, and it's been very, very effective. But then the liquid is called Mosquito Beater. And it actually has some citronella in it as well, too. So it smells even better than the cedar oil because you get that citrusy cedar.
Yeah.
And it smells really, really good. So it's great to use in the yard. Makes your yard smell awesome. But then your mosquitoes just leave and go somewhere else. But really, plan on a 2-week residual.
Okay.
I mean, you can sometimes get it to last a little bit longer, but 2 weeks is pretty common.
Now, what about for wasps and your hornets, flies? We were up camping last weekend, and man, as soon as we broke the food out, it's like all of a sudden
the flies came out of nowhere.
They came out of everywhere.
Actually works well on flies. Does not work on wasps and hornets.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got some really good traps for the wasps and hornets and yellow jackets that really work. But what we do is we recommend that you don't put it like on your deck or like right next to the grill.
Keep it.
You want to keep it away from where you're going to gather, so it will attract them somewhere else. Because the traps are attractive, so they actually have a bait in there. So the wasps and hornets and yellow jackets will be attracted to the trap, and then they go inside the trap, and then they can't get out.
Yeah,
and they can't get out. And so if you put it on your deck, it'll actually attract the wasps to your deck.
Yeah.
So
you're calling them to the wrong spot.
Yeah, so you want to put it 50 to 75 feet away from the area, where you're going to be gathering and where you're going to be cooking and where you're going to be eating. Okay. And we can encourage them to go somewhere else. But if your food is really, really tasty, maybe they'll come find you anyway.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't stop it.
Can't stop them. So.
All right. Well, coming up, we'll talk more about harvesting. And if you've got a question or comment about something in your yard that you're seeing, phone lines are open at 753-5868. That's 753-KVNU. Of course, the cash sale going on. We'll talk more about that coming up when we come back here on The Garden Guide on KVNU. KVNU News headlines here at the bottom of the hour. I'm Will Feelwright. A state legislative audit has been launched into questionable spending at Utah State University under former President Elizabeth Cantwell. According to preliminary findings, expenditures from the president's office, including on motor vehicles, significantly increased during Cantwell's 18-month tenure. Now, State Legislative Auditor General Cade Minchie said that the spending under scrutiny is either in the hundreds of thousands or it's millions. Now, Cantwell left the university earlier this year. A chair of the USU Board of Trustees told lawmakers the school welcomes the audit and is already taking aggressive steps to remedy the issues. Meanwhile, a student was taken into custody on Friday after allegedly bringing an inoperable firearm to Spanish Fork Junior High School. Now, the Nebo School District said that the school was placed on a temporary hold early in the day after a report of a possible weapon on campus. Now, a school resource officer located the student and confiscated a firearm that was not loaded and did not contain a clip. After the student was apprehended, the hold was lifted and the school resumed its normal schedule. Now, school officials sent a note to parents saying that there was no ongoing threat to students or staff. The school wrote in the statement that the safety of their students is always their top priority and that they are grateful for the swift actions of their staff, school resource officer, and law enforcement. Well, over the next several days, we're going to see maybe some moisture finally coming into the area as through the weekend, temperatures expected to stay right around the high 80s to low 90s with a mix of sun and clouds. As we head towards Sunday, though, start to see a chance of showers and then increasing showers likely for Monday. Will Feelwright with your KVNU News headlines.
I'm Jim Bass. We'll lead it off for the Red Sox, who have the Yankees number.
2-2. Wong swings and he pulls it down the left field line. Down the line into the corner. Fair ball. Karams into the corner. Lowe coasts in from second and scores. Wong slams on the brakes at second and gives the Red Sox the lead at Yankee Stadium. 1-0 in the seventh. courtesy Connor Wong.
As 93.7 FM WEI, Connor Wong, all the offense Boston needed came in the seventh. Brian Bayo, 7 strong, 3-hit ball. Red Sox 1-0 over the Yankees, clinch the season series, move a half game up on New York for the final AL wild card of the first American League wild card. 7-1 against the Yankees this season. Yu Darvish combined with 3 relievers on a 3-hitter. Padres pull even with the Dodgers atop the NL West by way of a 2-1 win.
1-0 pitch. Fly ball. Deep left. Get going and gone. William Contreras says good night. Home run number 14 on the season, and the Brewers win it by a final score of 5-4. They walk it off against the San Francisco Giants.
At 620 WTMJ, Contreras in the ninth, 5-4 over the Giants. They overcame a pair of home runs from Willy Adames in his return to Milwaukee. Nolan McLean, 7 strong for the Mets in a 12-7 win over the Braves. They tied a season high with 21 hits. The Mets now a game and a half up for the final wild card after Lourdes Gurriel Jr. walked off the Reds. Diamondbacks 6-5 over Cincinnati. Meantime, Pete Crow Armstrong tie-breaking home run in the ninth. The Cubs over the Angels 3-2, and Jock Peterson, your walk-off winner as the Rangers best the Guardians 4-3. NFL 49ers acquiring running back Brian Robinson from the Commanders for a 26th sixth-round pick, and Jessica Shepard, just under 22 minutes, fastest triple-double in WNBA history.
The expert with a green thumb. It's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Garden Guide on this Saturday morning. 64 degrees now. Now, looking ahead, the weather forecast is calling for this chance of some showers. So we are looking forward to that starting tomorrow, and then could see some measurable rainfall by Monday. Now, we were looking back through the summer records, Mark.
Right.
We had 2/100ths of an inch, okay, which keep in
July,
mind,
yeah.
2/100ths of an inch, that's less water than you would get if you just, hit the water cooler for a quick drink.
If you spit on the sidewalk,
yeah,
that's
just
about
nothing.
how much it is. So yeah,
and then this past week we had a 1/100th of an inch, which is even less than that. That's like half the spit on the sidewalk.
I did notice that the road was wet in front of the store when it did rain the other day. So
we just have not gotten a whole lot of moisture, but some more is possibly coming.
Yeah.
So it has been very dry.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have chances of rain. And temperatures are much, much cooler. Holy smoke, yeah.
Temperatures will be going down as the storm comes in.
We're in the mid to low 70s all week. So that's actually going to be really good for gardens and for plants. And if you are thinking about planting, whether you're planting grass, which we could talk about here in a minute, or if you're going to take advantage of our cash sale at Anderson's and get some trees or some shrubs or some evergreens or some vines, perfect time to plant. Like absolutely perfect time to plant. And with the temperatures dropping down, we should talk about spraying for weeds.
Yeah.
Because it has been too hot. In fact, I know multiple people that have sprayed and have burnt their lawn, inadvertently. Burnt it really bad because they sprayed when it was 95 degrees. And so now, looking at the temperatures, I'm going, dang, next weekend would be like
ideal.
Perfect. Yeah, because you're in the 70s. And so if you've had some morning glory or some, clover or purslane or spurge or something that has popped up in your grass throughout the summertime, this is the perfect time to spray. Today a little bit hot, but tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 80s, and Monday is supposed to be in the 80s. And if it's not raining, I mean, all you need is like 2 to 4 hours of dry
to be able to set
it. To get it absorbed into the plants, and it will do a sensational job. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll talk weed killers a little bit more, but cash sale going on at Anderson Seed and Garden. So if you would like to purchase some trees or some shrubs, add to your landscape, we're doing our cash sale. So it's 40% off all of our nursery stock, except for the perennials, because we've got some brand new perennials in. But it's 40% off, and if you pay with cash, you get an extra 10%, so you're going to get them for 50% off. And we do have some gorgeous trees. We've got some really great shrubs. I've got some really nice roses. Those are included as well, too. And so 50% off if you pay with cash, 40% off if you want to pay with your credit card or a check. So cash sale, get that extra 10%. We just got a new batch of perennials in yesterday. They look great, all in flower, looking really good. Fall bloomers, so we've got mums and we've got asters and a lot of others that are in bloom right now. Those are 25% off, even the brand new ones. So we've got a good sale going on those as well, too. And, yeah, you got a little bit of compost tea left.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to come in and get a few refills, we probably got somewhere between 50 and 100 gallons is what I was estimating yesterday. It's hard to tell with the really big tank, but have a little bit of compost tea. Okay. Somebody wants to come in and get one more refill.
Yeah. That might do it.
Come in and get one more refill. Yep.
Now, as far as planting is concerned, if you are looking for the best time to plant with the moisture that we've got coming in, this would be a great weekend to be able to grab some of those trees and shrubs, treat them a little bit with compost tea or some Bigfoot.
Yep.
Such a great product. In fact, I'm still hoping, is there a chance that Bigfoot may be coming to the Center Street?
They're going to be at the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival. Yep.
Okay.
So the Bigfoot guys are going to be there. So
kind of looking forward to talking with them because
it will be wonderful to have them there, and they're going to bring a whole bunch of samples to give out for people to try and stuff. But with our sale going on right now, we do still offer our 5-year guarantee on our plants. So even though we're clearancing them out, so they're going out at 50% off, we'll still offer our 5-year guarantee on these trees and shrubs. And so if they meet our requirements, which is like they've got to be hardy enough for our area, so you can't plant zone 6 stuff here.
Right.
So if you get a jasmine or you get hibiscus, they're zone 6, and the roses, zone 6 also. They're not covered under the warranty, but anything that's zone 5 or less is covered under our warranty. And we have our Bigfoot warranty and we have our Mike warranty. So with the Mike warranty, you get the mycorrhiza to cover the plants with. You get either the Kangaroots or the Fertilome Root Stimulator, and then you get a 5-year guarantee for the plants that you purchased. And with the Bigfoot, it is 2 products from Bigfoot. So it's their concentrate and their granule, and you treat them just exactly the same way you do with the mic. And we will cover those plants against all kinds of different things. The guarantee doesn't cover like a lawnmower or running them over with your car.
Or if your daughter's dog all of a sudden tries to strip the bark
off the tree. That's not covered. But these products make your plants get established so much faster, and they just will take off. And the bigger, healthier the root system is, the better the plants do. And so between our 2 guarantees, we'll give you a 5-year guarantee on the plants that you're purchasing. And what the guarantee does is it gives you the credit of what you purchased to use for another purchase. And so what some people that are purchasing in the fall don't understand is like you're getting them for half price. And so if it's a $100 tree and you're getting it for $50, we'll give you credit for the $50 that you spent.
Okay, yeah.
So you're going to get 100% back of the money that you spent for the plant.
Yeah.
But next year, if it's $100, it's still $100.
Right.
Yeah. And so if you're going to replace it, you're going to get full credit.
Okay.
For what you paid for, but we're not giving you another brand new tree for $100.
Right.
Okay. So, because some people really kind of get uptight about it. They're just like, well, the tree's like $100 tree. And it's like, yeah, but you only paid $50 for it.
It was on sale.
It was on sale. Yeah. So you got it for $50. So we're going to give you the full $50 that you spent for it. And sometimes that still doesn't compute for some people. So that's how the guarantee works. And it's a 5-year guarantee as long as you follow the instructions and you use our planting guide and plant them according to our instructions. And we do recommend that you dig your holes, 3 times the size of your pot. So you're going to dig a much bigger hole, and we're going to mix some nice soil conditioner in with it to condition your soil so it'll hold more moisture. It loosens the soil up. Then all of a sudden your tree has all this extra room for the root system to grow before it hits the hard stuff. So if you only dig your hole slightly larger than the pot that it's in, it will struggle because it has nowhere for those roots to grow. It just kind of hits that hard compacted soil and it hits all the rocks and everything that's in there. And the roots really kind of struggle to spread. But if you dig your hole extra wide and you loosen that soil up and you put some nice new soil in there with it, all of a sudden the roots are just like expanding like crazy. Yeah. And when that happens, then your plants get established really, really well. And then they are more able to withstand other stresses and other problems and diseases and, you know, insects and things much, much better because they're super healthy to begin with.
Okay.
So it does make a big difference. It is prime time for planting grass seed as well too. So from now until the 1st of October is the best time of year to plant grass. Okay. So if you need to fill in some spots, I've had some customers come in, they've had necrotic ring spot, they've had some insect damage, and they're just kind of like hoping that the grass recovers. And sometimes it'll take 6 weeks to 8 weeks for the grass to recover and start to look good again. But if you plant new grass in that area where you've had some damage, you'll have new grass up in 7 to 10 days. I mean, it doesn't take very long. So you can get some new grass back very, very quickly if you've had some damage in your turf by just planting some new seed right now. And by planting new varieties of grass, you can make your turf much more resilient, and it'll be more resistant to drought. It'll be more resistant to insects, more resistant to diseases, have a nicer, darker appearance color-wise, and by adding new grass in there, you'll get that extra germination. You'll get your grass to thicken up, and it will be much faster recovery on areas that have been damaged if you get that grass seed out there while you're trying to treat the insects or trying to treat the disease instead of just hoping and waiting for the grass to recover, because sometimes it does take months for the grass to perk back up, and it doesn't look great.
Okay. Excellent. Well, let's go out to the phone lines. We have our first caller joining us on the line. Welcome to the Garden Guide here on KVNU. Oh, and let's go out to Calvin, who's holding on line 2. Calvin, go ahead. You're on the air.
Good morning. I have a couple of.
Let's go out to Calvin, who's holding on line.
I have a couple of problems with. One with onions.
Okay. You might want to turn your radio down in the background just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
I had some white onions and red onions, and I harvested them, and the red onions were nice and shaped, and now as they've dried and the tops are dried, I get in a big flat spot on the bottom of almost all of them.
Is it right where is it right where the roots are, or is it off to the side?
Well, it's just barely off of where the roots are.
Yeah. Is it kind of sunken? Has it turned brown? What?
It's sunken.
It's sunken just a little bit. There are a couple diseases that get into the onions that can affect the bottoms like that, and there's one that's called pink root, and it will cause kind of a discoloration and a sunken section on there. You say it's just on your red onions, not on your white ones.
Oh, there's maybe one or two on the white.
A little bit in the red, then a little bit in the white. Okay. How long did you leave the onions outside to kind of cure before you brought them in?
About 2 days.
Okay, 2 days is perfect. Usually I'll dig them up and kind of turn them on their sides and just leave them out for a couple days and kind of like let the root system kind of dry. And then I'll bring them into my curing area, which is still warm and dry, but then the sun's not on them. They may have gotten a little bit of sunburn on the bottom, which is possible too. If you brought a sample or two into the store, I'd be happy to take a look at it, see if it appears to be more of the disease, or it could be just a little bit of sunburn since they sat out for 2 days and the sun has been pretty hot and intense. And if it is a little bit of sunburn, they should still cure really pretty well. Shouldn't bother them. If it's the disease, they'll probably deteriorate really quickly, and so you may want to use them up first since the white ones are looking a little bit better. And I like to cure my onions for about 6 weeks in a warm, dry, dark location before I put them in like my cold storage for the winter time. So hopefully that helps.
Okay.
All right. So,
Okay.
so bring a sample or two in, Calvin. I'll be there today. I won't get into the store till about 10 or 10:30. I've got to go do a lawn inspection for a customer of ours, but I'll be there until probably 3 o'clock today. So otherwise, I'll be there next week, Monday and Tuesday. But then I'm at a conference in Reno for trade shows on Wednesday. So.
Okay. I have one other question.
Go ahead.
My peach tree, it stayed yellow. It was yellow, really pretty yellow, and I've sprayed it 2 or 3 times with the iron chelate, and it didn't seem to help. Plus, the peaches are only about half the size.
Smaller, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the spring, like right around St. Patrick's Day, shortly after the snow really melts, let's do the chelated iron on the ground around the tree, and then do a nice balanced fruit tree food. Something, a really good fertilizer. Balanced fertilizer has got a lot of micronutrients in there as well too. And then I would be very surprised next year if you don't have a lot more fruit, bigger fruit, and it will take care of your iron deficiency. So the earlier in the season you can treat for those and do it preventatively instead of trying to correct it after it's happened, it will work a lot better. And the chelated iron, you have to really get a lot on there to correct a deficiency in the tree. It'll start to green up, but it won't like completely green up by spraying it on. It gets it moving in the right direction, but we'll probably have to do a soil treatment next spring.
Okay. Good. What's the difference between the iron sulfate and chelated iron?
Iron sulfate is a much slower version, and it takes sometimes 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes even up to 3 months for it to break down into a form that the plants can pick up. However, the sulfur is really helpful because the sulfur helps lower the pH of the soil, which in turn frees the nutrient, like the iron, up so that the plants can utilize it better. High pH soils tie up the iron and make it so it's unavailable to the plants, even though it's there in an accessible form. The plants still can't pick it up because it's bound in the alkalinity of the soil. So the sulfur helps with that. The chelated irons have been pre-digested for the plants, so they can use them almost instantly. And so they'll use them much, much quicker. So the nutrient has been pre-digested, so it's in a form that the plants it's like immediately available to them. So that's the big difference.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Have a wonderful weekend, Calvin.
You too.
All right. We'll see you.
All right. Kathy's joining us on the line. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We've gone for about 3 weeks, and we have weeds that are maybe 3 feet tall in our garden now. It's not really a garden area; it's just a blank area.
Sure.
And I was going to spray them with Killzall, and then I read that it would be a waste of time to do that because when it's this hot, they get this waxy stuff on them, and it won't kill them. Am I reading things right?
The Killzall should work really well still. When plants are stressed and it is hot, they kind of close up their pores. They kind of shut down. I wouldn't say they hibernate, but they kind of slow their metabolism down. And most of the herbicides work better when the plants are metabolizing things really fast. And so it could slow down the reaction, but it still should work great. And then that's when we like to use a surfactant in there, like a spreader sticker or a herbicide enhancer, because it helps open the pores up and allow the herbicide to penetrate in and do its thing. Killzall has 2 surfactants in it already, and so it should work very, very well. And it is nice to kind of kill the root system of some of those weeds before you till them in for fall. Otherwise, you just spread them around more. And so
I was thinking about mowing them down. Maybe should I spray them and then mow them down?
I would, if you want to mow them, that would work great. I would spray first probably because we want to get that herbicide down into the root system so it will kill the root system out. But the tops are actually good organic matter to work back into the soil. So if you shred those up, it will incorporate better into your soil. They'll break down a lot faster. And so running them over with the lawnmower will really chop them up into smaller pieces, and the smaller pieces break down a lot faster. So absolutely. Yeah, it should work great, Kathy.
the ones that have grown under the trees, my fruit trees.
Right.
Do I need to worry about because it's so hot, or should I just wait a couple of days and wait until it cools down?
It shouldn't matter. Just make sure that your spraying, your spray is controlled, so you don't have it going all over the place. Because I did have somebody in yesterday that had sprayed and had hit their lilacs, and it had deformed all the leaves on the lilacs. It wasn't going to kill their shrub, but it definitely affected it. And so make sure there's no wind, and spray in the evening when it's not as hot. Your product will be less likely to be volatile. And then evening's the best because it has all night to dry. And then by the next day, if it turns 95 degrees, it's already absorbed into the plants. It's much less likely to cause problems. If you spray in the morning and then it turns instantly hot right after that, your product is still out there on the plant. It'll volatilize and it could drift sometimes. Kills-All doesn't usually do that, but some of your other broadleaf herbicides do. So.
Okie doke.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Kathy. You have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
We'll see you.
Oh, we've got only about 3 minutes left, Mark.
I was just looking at the clock, and I was going, oh, my gosh, it's like almost 9 o'clock already.
Yeah. Fastest hour in radio.
It
now, if someone was just joining us, a reminder that the cash sale now,
yes,
40% off.
Yep. So that's all of our remaining nursery stock. So trees, flowering trees, fruit trees, shrubs, evergreens, flowering shrubs, roses, they're all 40% off, but 50% off if you pay with cash.
Okay.
So if you pay with the cold hard cash, you're going to get an extra 10% off, 50% off with the cash sale going right now. And then we do have some perennials, some gorgeous new perennials that just came in that are in bloom, great for fall, looking really, really good right now. They're 25% off, and great time to do that. I mean, with the weather changing next week, it's like perfect time for planting trees, planting roses, planting perennials. It will be wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be great. And then Pumpkin Festival coming up the 27th of September. So I know it's 5 weeks away, but we'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah, talk about it a little bit. And we may still have a little bit of compost tea left. So I know we kind of shut down last week because we ran out, but we used what was left to make an extra 350 gallons, yeah. And so there's probably just a little bit left if you want to try and come in and see if we've got any for refills. I know we were getting a little low yesterday, but I think we still had 50 to 100 gallons.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you mentioned it's a great time planting perennials that you mentioned that have just come in.
Yep, the perennials.
Great time to put those perennials out. I know the bees would really appreciate it because this is that time of year when they really can use as much help as they can.
Snack. Yeah, they need a little snack. So great time to plant lawn. Excellent time to go after weeds in the lawn. So I would recommend Weed Free Zone right now because it's quick and it absorbs very quickly. It's like rain fast within 2 hours. So if you're looking at the weather for next week, we've got temperatures in the 70s. Perfect time for killing weeds. Weed Free Zone only needs 2 hours, to be rain fast. So if you spray and then 4 or 5 hours later it rains, still going to work. It's going to do a great job, and it's going to kill morning glory and dandelions and clover and mallow and thistle and all those hard to kill weeds. And it's going to do a sensational job this time in the fall, especially if we get some moisture. So I'm thinking like next weekend is going to be perfect because you get that natural moisture in the soil, and the plants all just perk up, and they're just really happy and content.
Yeah.
And that's when the herbicides work the best.
Okay. All right. Well, and we are really hoping that we'll finally get a little bit of moisture from above because it's been a dry summer.
Dry summer, but we could have a wet fall.
Yeah.
Could have a wet fall.
Let's hope so, because we could really use that extra moisture. And it's probably a great time to throw down a little fertilizer.
It really is.
As the rain's coming in.
Yeah, it really is, because if you fertilize your lawn right now, it will really recover faster from the hot, dry summer. So Labor Day is one of our targeted fertilizer times to really get your lawn looking good. So Humate right now, and a good fertilizer with a little bit of iron, so like a Green Maker from Fertilome, or our 23-316 with 5% iron. Those would be superb to put on this weekend And then if it rains next week, your lawn will just like take off like crazy. And it's really nice to fertilize this time of year to get that grass to recover from our hot, dry, long summer.
Yeah.
So perfect.
It has been a long, hot, and dry summer.
Good suggestion. Labor Day weekend, that's a prime time for
good time to do
fertilizing. Yep, fertilizing.
All right. Well, of course, next weekend will be Labor Day weekend, and so we hope you join us again for the Garden Guide here on KVNU. And if you missed a portion of the show, you can always go back and listen to prior episodes by visiting our website, kvnutalk.com, or downloading the KVNU mobile app. We'll be back next week.
As our world changes, we're with you. News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 16.